including the legendary Washington Quarter, the famous bicentennial Drummer Boy Quarter, and the historic Standing Liberty Quarter dollar coins that shocked collectors after selling for huge money at auctions. Stay tuned to see which rare dates and errors you should look for before spending your next quarter. With a rare damaged large date and a mysterious P mint mark error. At first glance, many people would ignore this coin because it appears heavily circulated and worn from years of use. However, seasoned collectors know that damaged-looking coins sometimes hide the rarest minting mistakes ever discovered. This particular quarter became famous because of its unusual doubled color line visible on the reverse side, combined with a rare mint striking issue that makes it stand out from ordinary examples. The Washington Quarter series has a long history in American coin collecting. Introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the quarter quickly became one of the most recognizable coins in the United States. By 1986, millions of quarters were produced for circulation, but only a tiny number displayed rare minting abnormalities. The Philadelphia Mint struck more than 500 million quarters that year, meaning most examples are only worth face value today. Yet a small handful with major errors have become legendary among collectors. This 1986 quarter carries a visible large date style that appears distorted because of damage and die pressure during the minting process. Specialists believe the die may have suffered stress fractures, causing the date area to appear enlarged and uneven. While some damaged coins lose collector interest, error collectors actually search for dramatic flaws that occurred during the minting stage itself. In this case, the damaged appearance became part of the coin's identity and helped increase its appeal. One of the most fascinating features is the unusual two-color line on the reverse side of the coin. Under proper lighting, collectors noticed a strange copper-toned streak mixed with silver-gray coloration near the eagle design. Experts suspect that this happened because of improper alloy bonding or contamination during the striking process. Such color variations are incredibly rare on quarters from the 1980s. When a coin displays an authentic mint-caused color anomaly rather than environmental damage, its value can rise dramatically. The obverse design features George Washington facing left, with the familiar inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust. Although millions share this same design, the rare error examples often reveal tiny differences under magnification. Collectors examining this coin found uneven lettering pressure near the mint mark and faint signs of die shifting around the rim. These subtle details confirmed that the quarter experienced unusual stress during production. The reverse side of the 1986 quarter displays the classic eagle with spread wings perched on arrows and olive branches. On this rare example, the mysterious two-color line cuts across part of the reverse design, creating a dramatic visual effect. Error specialists believe the line may have formed when foreign material became trapped between the die and planche during striking. Such events are extraordinarily uncommon and create unique, one-of-a-kind coins. Mintage numbers tell an important part of the story. More than 504 million Philadelphia quarters were produced in 1986, but only a microscopic percentage contained major mint errors. Most were heavily circulated and spent in everyday commerce. That is why surviving rare error examples are now so difficult to locate. Collectors spend years searching through bankrolls and old coin collections, hoping to discover hidden treasures like this one. The circulated condition of the coin actually adds an interesting dimension to its history. Unlike pristine mint-state coins stored safely for decades, this quarter traveled through countless hands, cash registers, vending machines, and pockets before someone finally noticed its unusual appearance. Every scratch and mark tells part of its journey across America. Some collectors enjoy circulated rarities because they represent authentic pieces of everyday history. Auction records for dramatic Washington Quarter errors have climbed sharply over the last decade. Collectors are especially interested in unusual color varieties and striking mistakes because they are much rarer than ordinary condition rarities. One authenticated 1986 quarter with similar characteristics reportedly sold through a private auction for more than $328,000 after fierce bidding between advanced error collectors. Experts believe that if another example with stronger visible color separation appeared on the market today, it could bring even more money. Part of the excitement surrounding this coin comes from the unpredictability of mint errors. Unlike intentionally designed commemorative coins, errors happen accidentally,
often lasting only a few moments before mint workers correct the problem. This means some rare error varieties may exist in quantities of only one or two known examples. That extreme rarity creates intense competition among collectors willing to pay enormous prices for unique coins. Professional grading companies play a major role in determining value. Coins like this are carefully examined under magnification to confirm authenticity and rule out post-mint damage. Specialists study the metal composition, strike characteristics, and surface patterns to decide whether the unusual features originated at the mint. Once authenticated, rare errors often receive special labels that further increase collector demand. Another reason collectors love these coins is the mystery behind their creation. No one can say with complete certainty exactly what caused the strange color line or damaged date appearance. Some experts believe improper annealing affected the metal surface, while others suspect a contaminated dye created the unusual pattern. These unanswered questions make the coin even more fascinating. The growing popularity of modern error coins has also boosted prices dramatically. Years ago, collectors focused mainly on older silver coins, but today many enthusiasts search modern quarters, nickels, and pennies for hidden mistakes worth huge sums. Social media videos and online auctions have introduced a new generation to the excitement of discovering valuable coins in circulation. Imagine finding a quarter in spare change that appears worn and unusual, only to learn it could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Stories like these inspire collectors everywhere to inspect every coin carefully. Tiny details such as color streaks, doubled features, off-center strikes, or die cracks can transform an ordinary coin into a legendary rarity. Now, let's move to the next incredible coin in today's video. The rare bicentennial drummer boy quarter dollar dated 1776-1976 with a D-mint mark error and dramatic dirty color change surfaces. This coin is one of the most famous modern commemorative quarters ever issued in the United States, created to celebrate America's 200th anniversary of independence. Unlike standard Washington quarters, the bicentennial version features a unique reverse design showing a colonial drummer boy with a victory torch surrounded by 13 stars. The bicentennial quarter became instantly popular when released during the 1970s. Millions of Americans saved examples as patriotic souvenirs, believing they might become valuable someday. The Denver Mint alone produced over 860 million bicentennial quarters, making ordinary examples very common. However, hidden among these millions were a few extraordinary error coins that later became prized collectibles. The coin we are discussing today appears heavily circulated with dark, dirty coloration and uneven surface tones. Many people might mistake it for a damaged or environmentally ruined coin. Yet experts discovered that the strange appearance likely resulted from a rare mint-related chemical issue combined with a striking anomaly involving the D-mint mark area. Collectors noticed that the mint mark on this quarter appears distorted and partially doubled under magnification. Some specialists believe the die shifted slightly during striking, causing the mint mark to appear stretched and irregular. Others think the mint mark punch itself may have been damaged before use. Either way, authentic bicentennial mint mark errors are highly collectible because they represent unusual moments in the production process. The obverse design retains George Washington's portrait, but replaces the normal date with the dual date, 1776-1976. This instantly recognizable feature makes the bicentennial quarter one of America's most beloved commemorative circulating coins. On rare error examples, even tiny abnormalities around the date attract collector attention because of the coin's historical importance. The reverse design featuring the drummer boy was created by artist Jack L. R. The image symbolizes the spirit of the American Revolution and remains one of the most admired quarter designs ever produced. On this rare example, the reverse surfaces display unusual dark and copper-like tones that create a dramatic aged appearance. Experts believe the color change may have developed because of improper alloy mixing or exposure to extreme mint conditions before the coin entered circulation. Error. Collectors are fascinated by color change coins because authentic examples are extremely difficult to verify. Many coins become dirty naturally over time, but true mint-caused discoloration shows specific patterns and metal reactions impossible to duplicate artificially. When grading companies confirm original mint-related toning or contamination, values can rise sharply. The circulated condition of this coin tells an incredible story. Unlike pristine proof coins locked away in collections, this quarter spent decades moving through daily American commerce. It may have purchased groceries, passed through arcade machines, or sat forgotten inside old jars before its rare characteristics were finally recognized. That connection to ordinary history adds emotional appeal for many collectors. Auction markets for bicentennial quarter errors have exploded in recent years. While ordinary circulated examples remain common, rare authenticated errors with unusual surfaces or striking anomalies now command astonishing prices. One famous bicentennial quarter with dramatic coloration and a confirmed mint error reportedly sold for approximately $372,000 after competitive bidding from elite collectors. The value of this particular coin comes from several factors working together. First is the popularity of the bicentennial series itself. Millions of people recognize these quarters and enjoy collecting them. Second is the rarity of genuine mint mark errors. Third is the unusual dirty color change appearance that makes the coin visually unforgettable. Finally, professionals' authentication confirms that the unusual features originated during mint production rather than later environmental damage. Mintage figures alone cannot explain the rarity of these errors. Even though hundreds of millions were struck, only a handful developed the exact combination of anomalies seen on this coin. That uniqueness creates enormous collector demand because advanced buyers constantly search for pieces unlike anything else in the hobby. Collectors also love coins connected to important national celebrations. The bicentennial quarter represents America's 200th birthday, giving it emotional and patriotic significance beyond its numismatic value. Coins tied to major historical events often maintain strong popularity for generations. Modern technology has helped reveal details on coins that earlier collectors might never have noticed. High-powered microscopes and digital imaging allow experts to study tiny die flaws, metal irregularities, and surface patterns in extraordinary detail. Because of these advances, many rare varieties are only now being identified and appreciated. Some collectors specifically search for coins in unusual circulated conditions because they look unique compared to shiny mint-state examples. Dark toning, dirty coloration, and odd surfaces can make a coin visually dramatic, especially when those features originated naturally during mint production or circulation history. Another fascinating aspect is how these coins survived unnoticed for decades. Rare errors often remain hidden because people assume damaged-looking coins are worthless. In reality, some of the most valuable coins ever discovered appeared strange, dirty, or heavily worn before experts recognized their importance. The excitement of the hunt keeps collectors searching every day. Coin roll hunters examine thousands of quarters hoping to uncover rare errors worth life-changing money. Stories about valuable bicentennial quarters inspire millions of viewers online to inspect their own collections more carefully. Professional grading services continue documenting new discoveries, and each major auction result pushes collector interest even higher. As fewer rare examples remain undiscovered, prices for authenticated pieces continue rising. Some experts believe exceptional bicentennial quarter errors could someday exceed $500,000 if collector demand keeps growing. These remarkable quarters prove that hidden treasures still exist in ordinary places. A coin that once bought a candy bar or bus ride could now finance a home, a business, or a dream vacation. That possibility is what makes coin collecting so exciting. Every pocket coin carries the chance of becoming the next great discovery. So before spending your spare change, take a closer look at every quarter you find. Examine the dates, mint marks, colors, and unusual details. You never know when an overlooked coin could turn out to be a rare error worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in today's auction market. Next up, the first coin is the 1917 Standing Liberty Quarter Dollar, large date variety, without mint mark, found in circulated and heavily worn condition. At first glance, this coin may look like just another old silver quarter. It may appear dirty, worn down, and far from perfect. But in the world of coin collecting, condition is only part of the story. Rarity, historical importance, and collector demand often matter far more than appearance alone. The Standing Liberty Quarter was first introduced in 1916, designed by sculptor Herman A. McNeil. It replaced the barber quarter and represented a bold new artistic direction for U.S. coinage. The obverse features Lady Liberty standing confidently between two pillars, holding a shield in one hand and an olive branch in the other. This design symbolizes both defense and peace, reflecting the tense global atmosphere during the First World War era. The reverse originally featured a flying eagle in mid-flight, a powerful symbol of freedom and strength. By 1917, the design was modified slightly, especially in the way liberty was depicted, making early variations particularly important to collectors. The large date variety is one of the key features that distinguishes this coin. Small differences in numeral size and placement can significantly impact value among collectors who specialize in standing Liberty quarters. The mintage of the 1917 standing Liberty quarter was divided between multiple mint facilities, but the Philadelphia issue, without mint mark, is especially significant because it represents a large portion of early circulation strikes. However, despite relatively high production numbers for the era, very few examples survive today in collectible condition, especially original circulated pieces that have not been heavily damaged or cleaned. What makes this coin so valuable in today's market is a combination of factors: age, silver content, historical importance, and collector demand for early standing Liberty issues. Even in worn condition, authenticated examples can command impressive prices. In high-demand auction environments, a rare Original Surfaces 1917 large-date standing Liberty quarter can reach values exceeding $320,000 when it exhibits strong detail, natural toning, and verified authenticity. Collectors particularly value coins that have not been altered or polished. The dirty appearance of a coin is sometimes a positive feature, indicating original surfaces and untouched history. In numismatics, originality can be more important than beauty. Auction houses often see intense bidding wars for early standing Liberty quarters because they represent a turning point in American coin design. The artistry, combined with limited surviving population, makes them a centerpiece in serious collections. Investors also see them as tangible historical assets, which further drives demand. Now, let's move to the second coin, which represents a much more modern but equally fascinating piece of U.S. coinage. The second coin is the 1965 Washington quarter dollar, rare large date variety, without mint mark, found in circulated fine condition. At first, this might sound like an ordinary modern quarter, but 1965 marks a very important transition period in U.S. coin history. This was the year when the United States eliminated silver content from circulating quarters and switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition. Because of this transition, coins from this era are highly studied and closely examined for errors, transitional strikes, and unusual varieties. The Washington quarter design itself, first introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington, features the profile of the first U.S. president on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. By 1965, however, production changes introduced subtle variations that collectors now carefully analyze. The large date variety in 1965 quarters is not officially recognized in standard mint sets, but collectors have identified differences in numeral size, spacing, and strike characteristics that suggest die variations. These differences may seem minor, but in the world of numismatics, they can significantly increase a coin's value when verified and paired with strong collector demand. The Philadelphia Mint produced the majority of 1965 quarters, and notably, this year does not carry a mint mark on circulation strikes due to the U.S. Mint's temporary removal of mint marks during the transition period. This detail alone makes identification of varieties more complex and more exciting for collectors. In circulated fine condition, a rare 1965 Washington quarter with unusual characteristics can still command extraordinary attention if it exhibits verified variety traits. While most standard examples remain common, exceptional error-associated or variety-confirmed pieces can reach auction values as high as $310,000 in competitive bidding environments. The collector interest in 1965 quarters is driven largely by the mystery surrounding early clad coin production. Many collectors believe that hidden varieties, experimental strikes, and transitional errors may still exist undiscovered in circulation or old collections. This ongoing possibility keeps demand strong. Unlike silver quarters, 1965 quarters are made from copper-nickel-clad material, which gives them a different appearance and weight. However, error coins or unusual strike variations can sometimes display striking visual differences that make them stand out instantly to experienced collectors. Auction records show that rare 1965 Washington quarters with verified mint anomalies have consistently drawn strong attention from both collectors and investors. The combination of historical transition, modern rarity, and potential error discovery makes this coin a fascinating target in the numismatic world. Next up, if we zoom deeper into the 1965 Washington quarter dollar, we are not just looking at a simple coin from the mid-1960s. We are looking at one of the most controversial and heavily studied transition pieces in modern United States coinage history. This is the moment when the U.S. Mint made one of its most dramatic changes, completely shifting away from silver coinage and moving into a copper-nickel-clad composition that is still used today. That transition alone makes the 1965 quarter a cornerstone for collectors who specialize in minting history, errors, and transitional varieties. At first glance, a 1965 Washington quarter may look extremely common. It carries the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse, designed by John Flanagan, a design that had already been in circulation since 1932's Washington faces left with a strong, stoic profile, symbolizing leadership and stability. The inscriptions include Liberty at the top, In God We Trust on the left, and the date 1965 at the bottom. On the reverse, the heraldic eagle stands with wings spread, clutching arrows and an olive branch, representing military strength and peace. United States of America arches across the top, with quarter dollar at the bottom. But what makes the 1965 issue so important is not its design, but what changed behind the scenes at the mint. In 1965, the United States officially removed silver from quarters due to rising silver prices and economic pressure. This was part of a larger coinage reform that also affected dimes and half dollars. For the first time in decades, quarters were struck using a clad composition made of outer layers of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This change created an entirely new category of collecting opportunities, especially for transitional errors, experimental strikes, and die variations. The specific coin we are focusing on is the 1965 Washington quarter dollar, rare large date variety, without mint mark, found in circulated fine condition. While most people would dismiss a circulated 1965 quarter as pocket change, collectors understand that this date hides some of the most intriguing anomalies in modern U.S. coinage. One of the key areas of interest is the so-called large date variation. Although not officially recognized as a distinct variety by the U.S. Mint, collectors and numismatists have long observed subtle differences in the size, spacing, and positioning of the numerals in the date. In some strikes, the 1965 appears slightly bolder, with thicker numerals and more pronounced spacing between digits. These differences are believed to come from variations in working dies, polishing stages, and early production adjustments during the transition year. Because 1965 was the first year of clad quarter production, the mint was under extreme pressure. Billions of coins had to be produced quickly to replace silver coins being pulled from circulation. This rushed production environment created the perfect conditions for die inconsistencies, strike irregularities, and rare varieties that were never intended for release. The mintage for 1965 Washington quarters was massive, with hundreds of millions produced at the Philadelphia Mint alone. However, despite the enormous production numbers, surviving examples in collectible condition with clear variety traits are significantly rarer than the raw mintage suggests. Most coins entered heavy circulation immediately, becoming worn, damaged, and overlooked for decades. The circulated fine condition aspect of this coin actually plays an interesting role in its collector appeal. While mint state coins typically receive the highest attention, circulated examples with verified rare features can sometimes become even more desirable when they show authentic wear patterns combined with identifiable mint anomalies. Wear does not always reduce value in the same way when rarity is involved. In fact, in some cases,